Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Paranormal Peeps podcast. I'm Josh.
I'm Jamie.
And I'm Elisa.
She's back.
Woohoo!
Finally.
We just found her wandering aimlessly outside our house, so we just said, come on, let's do a podcast. You haven't been here in like 2 months.
You look familiar. Why don't you just come over and hang out?
Why don't you just come over and hang
You
out?
used to come over all the time? What happened?
We'll feed you and we'll record and all is good. No, but where have you been, lady?
I have been to Scotland.
Yes. She went to Scotland for her birthday.
Yep, for my big 40.
Oh, she's the big 4-0, people.
Yep.
So we still got a few years on you, but yeah, she was Marco Poloing me when her and her husband were over there and showing me like some of the headstones in the cemeteries over there. Oh my goodness.
It is amazing. It is so full of architecture that is mind-blowing.
Just amazing, huh?
Full, it's so amazing. And everything looks like it's haunted. Every single place looks like it's haunted.
You turn around, you blink. Oh, it's haunted. It's haunted. That's
There are
haunted.
Cemeteries everywhere, and they're huge. So I told my husband his expectations have gone up. I demand an amazing headstone because these
One to
ones are
to rival those, right?
Yes.
Same style, but bigger.
Well, even if it just was halfway comparable to those ones, would be way better than the ones that we have here.
Wow.
Way better than the ones.
Yeah, the ones that you Marco Poloed me were just amazing.
Yeah, and they were all like twice as tall as me.
Jeez, can you imagine?
No.
I want to go so bad. We
Oh,
need
me
to
too.
plan a trip.
Do you think we can take one home with us?
Yeah, good luck with that in your dreams. Maybe you could take a picture of it one. You can bring that home.
Customs be like, what do you got in your bag?
Nothing.
Well, and what was crazy to me is we found a few of them that would say that they were made by their friends or like neighbors and stuff like that. And I'm like, this thing would cost thousands and thousands of dollars
Wow.
for us. So how do they do that? They must have like really rich friends.
Maybe, huh?
Or they're just crafty and they built it themselves. So our topic today actually kind of is in the same neck of the woods as Scotland.
It's pretty close. Close by.
It's the UK.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about the Borley Rectory.
Which
Yeah.
would have been so cool because I was already like in that vicinity.
Yeah,
Going
I'm
over there.
surprised you. I mean, it's just an empty plot of land, but
I know.
still to go over there and because Elisa, for her birthday, her husband got her a really cool new piece of equipment while they were there.
We were in the cemetery, and their cemeteries are open 24/7. You can go in there anytime, day or night. And we went to the cemetery that was across from our hotel, and I'm sitting there putting out my equipment and trying to have a EVP session. And Alan's like, "Hey, you should open this." And I was like, "What is this?" So I open it up, and it's like a tripwire that is like 36 feet long. And so it's full of EMF detectors all
That's
the
so
way
cool.
down the line. And so we sat there and we draped them over all of these like super old headstones. And it was like, this is going to be amazing.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Someone's looking out going, ugh, dumb Americans.
No, do you know, guess what? We had so many people from different countries come over to us and be like, hey, can we just watch you for a little bit?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Like-
so cool.
People from China.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that would be so awesome.
So, and people from Scotland and
So fun to meet different people like that, though. And then they're really interested in what you're doing. They just want to observe. That is so cool.
yeah.
I love it. I love
We
it.
should have took our cards, but then hand them out.
Oh, I already gave them the podcast.
Oh,
Did you?
They
Perfect.
looked it up and they already did all the things while I was with them so that they
Oh.
could get
That's awesome.
Right on. That's great. Well, shout out to all those folks.
it.
So on to the Borley Rectory,
Yes.
which Borley is a small village. I mean, I think it's small anyway. It's only 121 people, or was
I was
121
gonna say,
people.
that is pretty small.
It's less today.
It's less today. It's 110 today.
Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
Is it a
Tiny.
little area or just a lot of farmland?
it's a lot of farmland. It's a lot of agriculture.
Yeah.
So it's in Essex near Suffolk.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys all know where that's at, because I have no idea.
Well, we've never been.
Never been.
So, yeah. But the Borley Rectory is supposed to be the most haunted house in the UK.
It was.
It's reported to be.
Yeah, it was listed as the most haunted house in the UK, which is actually kind of impressive considering how there's like so many haunted locations there. Like this one gets to be number one.
Well, yeah, it just tells you how much activity's gone on there.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing is the paranormal accounts, it's not just by like one or two different people, it's by the hundreds of people who have seen this stuff go on. And we'll get into that shortly. The crazy thing about the Borley Rectory, at least the land, right, is it dates back to 1362.
Way back.
Holy cow.
Way back. And Edward III, he gave the manor at Borley to the Benedictine monks.
Okay.
So, and then in 1375, Simon of Sudbury was appointed Archbishop of Canterbury, who was later murdered and beheaded on Tower Hill. The interesting thing is that there are reports that he still haunts the Borley area, and
Right.
he could be one of the apparitions that people have seen on the grounds.
Well, I mean, it's very possible. So did they say why he was beheaded?
He kind of made the peasants mad.
Okay.
And so they broke into the Tower of London, which,
They wanted revenge.
yeah.
They drug him out of there.
My understanding is the Tower of London's a pretty secure place. And maybe it wasn't in 1675 or 1381.
Right.
But like that's the big prison. Like how did they just like walk in there and take him out? Like,
Well, because
someone
maybe
must have really wanted him dead.
Yeah, well, that or maybe they're just like, we hate him too. Here you go.
Yep.
Open the door,
Right.
let him in.
So from 1500 to 1800, the manor was actually in possession of the Waldegrave family. So this place is just so old.
It is. So who's the Waldegrave family?
So one of the Waldegraves was Sir Edward Waldegrave,
Okay.
and he was Speaker of the House of Commons in 1402.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a political family, almost.
Of course.
I mean, they're the ones that got the money, right?
I suppose.
They are. Yep. I mean, that's how you're going to get in.
So we'll skip forward to 1833.
Oh, that's quite a leap.
Yeah, it's a 300-year jump.
A little
Some
bit.
change.
Yep.
But that's when Reverend Henry Bull was born. So he actually took the rectory over in 1862. So he was in his 30s when he got to Borley Rectory. Well, actually, it should be the Borley grounds. There was a small rectory built on the property,
Right.
but he ended up having 14 kids.
Yeah, so a couple.
Just a couple.
So they need something bigger, roomier.
So they actually expanded the property,
You'd have to.
right?
14 kids. Yeah, you can't stack them like cordwood
Everybody
on top
share a
of each
bed.
other. Yeah. 3 to a bed.
I would say this is the condition in which the rectory is seen today, but unfortunately, that's not the case.
No, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that part. In 1892, Reverend Harry Bull died. He died in the rectory.
Well, that was pretty common back in the day, though. You generally die where you lived.
Yes.
Yeah.
So after Harry Bull had passed away, his son was also a reverend, and his name was Henry Bull.
Yeah.
And he took over the property until he died in 1927.
So, okay. So then from there,
And didn't they die in the same room?
Same room.
isn't that weird? Okay, that's already kind of odd, isn't it? I mean, I guess 2 people is coincidence. It could be, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I would want to move into the same room that my...
I wouldn't.
That your parents died in?
Yeah.
Yeah, no
I
thanks.
don't think that'd be a thing for me.
No.
Because also Harry Bull's wife died on the property as well. And I was pretty sure it was in the same room or the room next door.
Same room. From what I read, it was the same room.
So do you think it's a instance where they had an ailment or old age, and so that's their room. So
Sure.
they're in bed, and of course
Sure.
they're going to pass
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense, but it's not like it's like a master bedroom
No.
with a bathroom and like
All the
reasons for
things.
wanting to be in that room.
Right.
You got plenty of options in that place.
Yeah, but if that's where their bed is, like, when I'm sick,
Well,
I want
I
to be
mean,
my own
like,
bed.
The kid
Oh, right.
going to move in.
Right.
to
After
the
his parents had passed, move into their room.
Mhm.
Oh, I totally get it. I couldn't do it.
Maybe it was the Lord of the House's room. Like that's where the reverend that was running the place stayed. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, if they own the house and he was left the house, could he not change that and pick any room he wanted?
He could.
It's like I want to be close to my mom and my dad.
So, but it's the room that they call the blue room.
Yes, it's called the Blue Room. So it actually sat empty for a couple of years, and they tried to get 11 different people to take over the rectory.
I think by now it's gotten a reputation at this point.
It has a small reputation, but people don't know it quite the same way. I think there's a couple things, right? One, it's rather huge at this point, right?
Yeah.
But also, it's still Borley. It's still 120 people. Maybe you
Right.
don't
So
wanna go
small.
there. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But I heard 12, but like 11 or 12 families or couples or people to get to this place and they all say no in a row.
I think there's some
Yeah.
superstition that goes along with it at this point
Yeah.
because people are not wanting anything to do with it.
So in 1928, Reverend Eric Smith, he actually accepts and starts living on the property. But he leaves 2 years later in 1929.
Well, he didn't know anything about it, right? Or did he?
No, he didn't know anything about it, but the activity started almost immediately.
Yeah.
So he found
From when
out
he
pretty
moved
quick.
Yeah, he found out real quick. After the Reverend Smith and his wife move out, it sits empty again for another year before they finally get somebody else in there. And this time it's the Reverend Foister and his wife move in.
Yeah.
And that is in 1930 when they move in.
Okay, so now we're in the 1900s.
And then they actually stay longer than the Smiths. They move out in 1936. After 36, the interesting thing is nobody really ever truly lives there very long after that,
I wonder why.
right?
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that. So in 1937, a paranormal investigator by the name of Harry Price actually rents the property for a year. So from 1937 to 1938.
Right, and he does this for the purpose of what?
Of verifying all of the accounts that have happened on the property without having anybody living in the house at the time.
Yes.
Which-
Now, this would be a dream job for any investigator.
Oh, heck yeah.
That's all of our dreams.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
To
Get to
in a
live
haunted
there
house?
for 12 months.
Yeah, and you see these things that people post on Facebook or Instagram, and it's like, hey, would you stay one night in here for $1 million? And it
Done.
looks like the creepiest haunted place ever. We're like, heck yes, I would.
I'll do it
I'll
for
be there
free.
for a year. Are you kidding me? I'm in.
Let's do it.
I'm packing now.
In 1938, after Mr. Price's lease is up, it is taken over by a Captain Gregerson.
Yeah, but he is only there barely, 11 months?
Barely 11 months.
To the very day.
And he actually is the last known resident of the place.
Mm-hmm.
And in February 27th, 1939, the entire rectory is lost in flame.
Which is so sad.
Very sad.
So stinking sad. And I wish that somebody would have rebuilt it.
I do too.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
But now it's just an empty
Yep.
piece of land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about it is when it was built by Henry Bull, they built it on existing foundations that were there on the property.
Yes, they did.
So whatever buildings were there prior from the monks or whatever else was there, they just built it right on top of it.
Yep. Which could explain some of the
strange activity.
strange activity, yeah.
And so, what is the most famous known haunting of the property?
That's probably the nun. That's the one I hear most commonly.
That's what I hear too.
Yeah. Would you agree? The nun?
Yes.
The nun.
So what is the nun? The nun story.
So there's so many stories that are connected with the rectory, right? But I think the one about the nun is the most persistent one. It's the one that's you hear about first, right?
Yeah.
The nun legend has like several different variants. So I've heard, I think 3 at least.
Go with the juiciest.
We'll go with the juiciest. So the main one is that a beautiful young novice, right?
Yeah.
Which is anybody?
A young nun.
Yes. So she was at the nunnery and she fell in love with one of the lay brothers at Borley Monastery. You know what that means, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they are actually individuals who are becoming monks.
Yes. Or they think maybe he fell in love with her. They don't know which. But I've heard it both
already
ways.
A scandal already.
Oh,
You get
scandalous.
2 people who are not supposed to have any relationship.
Physical or anything.
And then all of a sudden it's like, ooh,
Hello. Woohoo.
I'm an attractive monk and you're an attractive nun.
Let's get together. So it's reported that the two had arranged to elope, and the nun met her sweetheart, and she met him in the woods that surrounded the monastery. And it was like, so they said they suspect, because I guess there's a bunch of tunnels and stuff.
Yeah, there are tunnels under the property.
That nobody knows what they were really used for.
It's fascinating that there's tunnels
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't they do that now?
I don't know. It'd be so cool. I want to go to some of these places and go in the tunnels
Yeah, me too.
over there. I really do.
I think it would be great. Now, these ones would be dangerous. But
These
the rest
ones
would
would,
be a lot of fun.
right.
I legit had tickets for Scotland to go in the underground tunnels in the underground city, and we forgot.
Oh,
How do you forget?
that's awful.
That's how tired we were.
Oh, yeah, because I'm sure they went pretty hard while you were there, just trying to see everything and
But
do
I
everything.
am so freaking bummed.
I'm sorry. That sucks.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. I had no idea you were supposed to
Yep.
do that. Had I known, I would have been like,
I already
hello?
had the tickets and everything.
oh no.
That's a huge bummer.
When did you guys figure out that you missed it?
Like 2 hours later.
After it was started?
It started.
Oh no.
Ugh.
You're like kicking yourself in the butt. Okay, so they think that maybe they kind of traveled the 7 miles from the Burrs to Borley via the tunnel.
That's a long tunnel.
That's a long
Wow.
tunnel, right?
Who has time for that?
I have no idea. So according to the story, they actually took another lay brother, and the 3 escaped from Borley in an old-fashioned coach drawn by a pair of bay horses. So they chose, kind of rather foolishly, kind of like a bright moonlit night for their escapade, right?
Trying to
So-
be romantic and such.
Yeah,
Well, it's easier to
romance.
see if you got a moonlit night.
Well, and this is true. They were found out and they were chased. And I don't understand why they would be chased down, though, for that. I mean, I guess it was different back then.
Maybe they stole it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if you steal it, they're going to.
I mean, I guess that's true. I don't know.
You could rent them back then.
Well, it gets interesting. But so anyways, it says they were caught and taken back to their respective superiors. And after a full contrite confession, the novice was basically guilty of breaking her vows that she had made. And she was condemned to be bricked up alive. Tell us a little bit about being bricked up and what that means.
So the story goes, when they get bricked up, is they find a little nook in a wall, and they give the nun a little bit of food, like a little piece of bread and some water.
Well, it's actually a loaf of bread and a pitcher of water.
And then they brick her up.
So and they leave her alone with her loaf of bread, her pitcher of water, and her sad thoughts
To die.
to die in the wall.
That's terrible.
I don't understand why they even give her the bread and water then.
So she'll suffer.
Maybe.
It's like,
But I mean,
that is the definition of cruel and unusual punishment.
yeah, it's
Well, if
horrible.
you think about it, you're alive longer in there.
Yep.
It's not like you can sit
Nope.
and you're going to the bathroom because you're getting food and water.
Yep.
And
If you're eating and drinking.
it.
But that's a pretty big price to pay.
Yeah, that's an.
I mean,
awful
that's
way
your
to go.
life. That's it's cruel. It's unusual punishment, and that's your life. That's your price that you pay is your life.
Well, it takes 7 days to kill somebody that way,
Yes, it would take a few days.
unless they ran out of oxygen and suffocated first.
Which is a very good possibility.
Yes, it would be
At least that would be a little bit faster, but
still torture
yes.
because
But I think I'd rather go that way.
just quick suffocation, just run out of air, go to sleep.
Yep.
Do some jumping jacks, get that heart racing, get that oxygen used up, and then
You don't have room to move.
Good luck with your jumping jacks.
you can hop in place.
Well, should we brick you up and find out?
Yes.
You get like brick burns on your chest and your back.
You're even more pain. So her lover they hung him right away. They just done. Boom.
So he gets a quick and easy
what the
death.
heck?
Yeah, he gets the quick, easy one, but
Just
her
get in the cellar and
bricked into the wall, loaf of bread, pitcher of water. Yeah, no. So they don't know. So the third person, which was the driver
Yeah.
of the carriage, there's no record of what happened to him. So they think maybe he turned King's evidence or its equivalent at the time and got off scot-free.
It's very possible he turned him in.
Yeah. So, but the nun, the coach, the bay horses, and the driver have been careening around the scene of the tragedy ever since. So it's reported like the stagecoach comes barreling up the drive, up the path.
Yep.
And it vanishes right before it crashes into the front windows of the rectory.
Yeah.
So it's been witnessed by a handful of people, apparently.
There's some issues with this story, though, with this legend.
There is. So on April 18th, 1939, Harry Price gave a lantern talk to the London Ghost Club, okay, about the nun and, the monk and all the carriage, all the things, right?
Can we be members of a ghost club? That'd be so amazing.
Is there one?
Yeah. Okay. So when I was in Scotland, there was a group of girls that were called the Spirit Girls.
Really?
Yeah. Is the thing.
Yeah. I mean,
We're not that cool here.
no. We're just not.
Well, and they were invited to like major people's houses
See, that's cool. How
for
fun.
dinners and fun events and stuff that they didn't even have to put on. Just
That is
to
so cool.
Be in that circle.
How fun is that, though? Just the adventure of all of it would be amazing.
We have such a different society here when it comes to
Totally.
these things.
So,
People look at you like, you're in a what?
oh yeah, you
You're
should see some of the...
weird."
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
When we were up at Bear Lake and we went in there and Peggy saw I was wearing my Cold Spot shirt and I was facing back towards her. And so, yeah, she was like, oh, that's so cool. And
Yeah, you get one or the other.
you get, that's so cool. Or what is that? And then you tell them
I
you get,
hope you have fun.
you get the look. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So when he was given a talk to the Ghost Club, his subject, of course, was Borley Rectory. And of course, he mentioned the walled up nun, and his lecture was duly reported in the Times. And the account stated a long and interesting correspondence in the columns of his journal as to whether nuns ever were bricked up alive. Okay. So this is kind of where this lady had wrote. She's a senior medical officer of the London County Council. And she opened the discussion in an amusing letter in which she says, Mr. Price claims that the manifestations are caused by the spirits of a nun and a lay brother who eloped together in a black coach and pair. The nun was bricked up and the lay brother hanged. She goes on to say, I fear that these unscrupulous phantoms have been pulling Mr. Price's leg. And she goes on to say, remember that these deplorable events must have happened, if at all, before the Reformation, where at this date could the guilty pair have obtained a coach, as coaches were unknown in England until after 1550. So legal historians would, I think, be even more interested to learn how the lay brother managed to get himself hanged.
Yeah, so there's no coach.
No.
Or no coaches, because you're talking, that would have been 1400s. So it would have been almost a full 100 years before a coach even existed in England. And when they first showed up, there was only a handful in all of England.
Yes, exactly. So
and a monk and a nun got
a hold of one. Yeah.
They went to London. This is why they got hung. He went to London, stole a coach, rode it back to Borley to pick up his love, and that's how he died.
After she traversed 7 miles of tunnels.
Yes.
He just didn't pull up front.
In the snow.
He didn't just pull up to the front and say, get in. So it says if he was in fact hanged, it must have been for the stealing of the horses and not of the lady. Nor is it clear how the novice could be bricked up, as this punishment has been shown over and over again to be mythical. And then she goes on to say, can Mr. Price produce any evidence for his legend, or indeed any example of a capital sentence being imposed in England on a monk or a nun for a breach of vows? Men have been hanged, drawn, and quartered often enough for keeping their vows, but not for breaking them.
Well, this makes me also think, because in some of the accounts, when the house burnt down, there were people that saw other people in the fire.
Yeah, and
images in the fire.
Yes, walking around.
There was a seance or something right before the place burnt down, that told the person that was living there to leave because the house was going to burn down at 9:30 that night. And this is one of the stories, right?
Yep.
And that because of that fire, they will find bones to prove that there was mischief that happened there.
Like something not good.
So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Harry Price goes on to say that he answered this doctor's good-natured criticisms by gently suggesting that she had been jumping to conclusions or had misread the Times report of his lecture. He goes on to say, I pointed out that it was not my legend, but one that had been current for 50 years. Also, he said that, as a matter of fact, I did not believe in the legend and did not believe in spirits. That seems like he's full of it. If he didn't believe in spirits, why did he rent the house for a year, lease the house for a year to prove it if he didn't believe at all?
Unless you were trying to prove that it didn't exist, but then...
Well, he was trying to prove it did exist.
I know.
That's what doesn't make sense. And so it's like, wait a second. He says that the doctor, that she is probably right about the bricking up of nuns and undoubtedly right about there being no black coaches at the time when Borley Monastery flourished.
The legend, or the part of the bricked up nun, actually happened in more Roman times. There were a temple called Vestal, and the women who had the vows to maintain this temple, they had to hold such strong vows, kind of like the nun, right? And if they disobeyed those vows, that was actually their punishment, where they'd get bricked up.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
Super messed up.
That right there would keep me from wanting to do it.
Right?
Right? Well, I mean, think about it. You hear about, like in the Victorian area as well, you hear about people burying their babies that died in the walls.
Yeah. I mean,
there was
a practice of doing those things.
But
yes.
why?
We don't know.
So that you can always be close to them?
Or are they close to you? I don't know. It's just like, it used to be the thing that, when your family member died, you prop them up and pose them and take a photo with them, like a family portrait with them, even though they were dead. So some weird stuff that we look at today and go, why?
Right.
But back then was a thing.
Yeah.
But what is the purpose?
I have no idea.
Besides burying them in the ground, what would be the purpose of there's got to be a reason for it,
Yeah.
a superstition or
Maybe that's something we'll have to kind of dig into a little bit.
Well, it's interesting because like just our last episode where I was talking about the Mailing, the families would actually, or the women who got pregnant outside of wedlock would discard their children in like a bog or swamp or in the
woods.
house.
Yeah.
So maybe it was a situation where they couldn't take care of the child and they just buried it in the walls.
I mean,
It's possible. It's also
I
awful.
wouldn't rule it out, but maybe that's when people, in certain places report hearing a baby crying in the walls and they don't know where it's coming from and they don't have children. So
it sounds so morbid.
I know it sounds horrible. I don't know. Maybe
I
we'll
just
have to look
think,
into that
like,
one a little bit.
I just think like bodies decay,
Yes, they
and
stink.
liquefy,
Mm-hmm.
and the goo that would just be there, like
Well, the smell, everything.
oh,
Rancid and no, I couldn't do it.
Nope. Not gonna do it.
nope.
I'm not burying you in the wall. Don't worry.
What are you doing with me?
Haven't determined that
Cremation.
yet.
No, he's
To
gonna
be
bury-
determined.
He's going to bury you with a string attached to your finger
And a bell.
and there's going to be a bell on the top.
Okay.
So if you go, bling, ding, ding, ding.
Well, as I decay, my finger's gonna move. It's gonna like, and then that bell's gonna ring.
I just thought about preserving you and putting you in my coffee table.
Oh, yeah, there was a person that did that, but
Yes, there
no,
was.
no.
He's going to skin you and then stuff you.
Oh, taxidermy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know they're doing a new thing where you can freeze dry?
Your body?
Well, they're doing it on pets. They're freeze drying a pet, so it's your actual pet, but it's freeze dried, so it looks like your cat's just sitting there.
If you add water, does it come back to life?
Rehydrate it? I don't want to know.
Gross. What if you live in like a humid...
Oh,
You live in Florida.
All of a sudden it starts drooping.
oh, why are you frowning?
I use the blow dryer. Oh, you're better now.
I'll put a fan on you.
That's so gross.
Oh, morbid.
So bad.
But there is another nun story. What was the other one?
So the other one was where one of the earlier tenants of the property, he was unhappy with his wife.
Oh, that's right.
And so he murdered her
Yeah,
and buried her in the cellar.
that's it. Now I remember.
And so like this man, he married a nun. So that's why she would be coming back as a nun. And he buried her in the cellar.
Could nuns get married, though? I thought that was, if you became a nun, that you
You
weren't.
can leave.
It's right. You can leave, but that's why they said before Reformation. So
Okay.
that's when the Lutherans broke off from the Catholic Church, and then the Lutherans had different views on celibacy and marriage with that type of piece. So it's possible that she could have been a Lutheran nun.
Okay. So, other hauntings.
Yeah, so that's where we get into the fun stuff, right? Like the nun story is a fun legend. Because
Sure.
it's like, but all legends got to come from something, right?
Yes.
So what hauntings do we have to show that this actually might exist?
We have lots. All right, let's start with Mr. Smith and his little fam.
Who they're the ones that moved in after the Bulls.
So soon after Mr. Smith and his wife moved into the rectory, one summer afternoon when Mr. Smith was alone in the house, he left his bedroom and heard a distinct whispering above his head. And as he passed under the archway leading to the chapel, the sounds instantly stopped. He returned across the landing, but nothing further was heard. And those sounds were heard several times afterwards, though none of the words were distinguishable, so you couldn't understand them. So by the way, I'm going to be going through quite a bit. We're just going to go one after the other. So get ready, buckle up.
Yeah.
I'm comfy.
And just so everyone understands the design of the house, off the main living areas, there's a hallway. At the end of the hallway is actually the chapel. So there's a chapel inside of the rectory.
Yeah.
Because when I first went through this, I was like, isn't there supposed to be a church? Like, did they go to the church across the street? How does this work?
Yeah, so that's a good distinction. Okay. On another occasion, at dusk, when he was crossing the landing, he heard a woman's voice, again coming from the center of the arch leading to the chapel. The voice started with like moaning sounds, and then it gradually got louder. But it ended with the words, "Don't, Carlos, don't," dying away in sort of muttering.
Dude, I need a campfire and a s'more as I listen to these.
That'd be great.
It'd be perfect.
You need to have some campfire noises in the background, the crackling.
Yes.
But Carlos was supposed to be the nickname by which the builder of the rectory was known. But this is denied by the surviving members of the family. The other phenomenon that was experienced at the rectory included a mysterious bell ringing. Speaking of bells, the slow and deliberate footsteps that patrolled the passages and upper rooms, and apparitions seen by 2 maidservants employed by Mr. Smith. But Mrs. Smith, I want to start this off with Mr. and Mrs. Smith. That was such a good movie, by the way. Mrs. Smith was returning from church one night after dark, and she noticed that the window of the schoolroom was lit up and presumed that a maid was there with a lamp. She entered the house and found the maid in the kitchen. The girl told her mistress that she had not been upstairs at all. So they went up there together and found the room was completely dark. The same thing happened on a later occasion when the choir had just finished their evening practice, and Mrs. Smith took all the members of the choir and showed them the window that was lit. Then they all went up into the room together, but it was also dark.
Haha, cool.
In this room it's actually on the corner of the building. It's on the second floor on the corner. Like, you'd know if someone's up there.
Yeah.
As you come into the house. They're upstairs. They can't jump out the window or anything.
Oh, I mean, they could, but you'd know it.
Exactly.
So Mrs. Smith also saw a figure leaning over one of the drive gates, and the figure was always dark and shadowy. And you'll find that the more I go through this, how common this is, because it's seen by several people. One of the maids employed by the Smiths was quite definite that she saw the traditional coach that you just talked about.
Oh.
One afternoon, as she ran to Mrs. Smith with the news that she had seen a, quote, "such a funny old coach" on the lawn. Mrs. Smith heard many more strange noises in the winter, more so in the winter than the summer. The most peculiar was the, quote, shooting from locks of their keys. So, and they would be found 2 or 3 feet away. So it's like back in the day when they would have the keys just in the locks.
Yeah.
And they would stay in the locks.
Yep.
And so apparently all at once they would all shoot out
Of the lock.
of the locks, and they would be 2 or 3 feet away from.
So a little bit of force there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this instance of the keys shooting out of the locks was actually witnessed by 6 people after Harry Price came over and started investigating with the Smith family.
Yeah.
Right.
And obviously, if they're all standing there and they all shot out straight out, the chances of doing that with like a string or something is very low.
And you're going to see it.
Well,
you're
yeah,
gonna
you
see
would
it.
see it. You would see it hands down.
I mean, today's day, you could figure out a way to
Oh,
get that
sure.
to happen.
Yeah.
You know, but back then, not so
No.
much. So a vase that normally stood on the mantelpiece of the bedroom was found smashed to pieces at the foot of the main stairs, and no one was in the house at the time, and the Smiths family, they were all in the garden. So during the last few weeks of living there, before they'd actually moved in, during the first few weeks of living there, before they actually moved in, Mrs. Smith was turning out some of the rooms when a cupboard in the library, she found a parcel neatly wrapped and tied with a string. Like, wouldn't you want to be like, oh, let's open that up. I want to see what this is. So she removed the wrappings, and guess what she saw inside?
What?
A skull
What?
of a young woman.
Because that's what you keep in your library.
I mean, I do.
A cute little parcel.
I mean, doesn't
Apparently
everybody?
it was in perfect condition, and even the teeth were too.
Wow.
And they had no reason for that to be in there. They couldn't find why there would be a woman's skull just sitting in the library. But Mr. Smith and the sexton reverently buried it in the churchyard.
That's good. So they gave it a proper burial.
So how do they know it was a woman's skull? Like, did they have it examined or...
That's a good question.
Didn't say?
There's ways you can tell the difference, like size.
I'm sure they... I was just hoping that they would have said how they knew it was a woman's skull.
Had an earring.
In the skull?
Wow.
Where? That's what I'd like to
Embedded up her nose?
Ear
Where? Oh, my.
Put a little lipstick on it.
Oh, my gosh.
That's a bit much, don't you think?
Yeah, a little much.
Okay. So now we're going to go to the Mrs. Bull's story. So they did... Okay, so the Bulls were... There was 3 sisters. There was Ethel, Frida, and Constance Bull. And they decided to do a seance in the Blue Room, which is supposedly the most haunted room.
Which is also the room that their parents died in.
Yes.
They did it in the early hours of June 13th, 1929. But on July 28th, 1900, the sisters were returning home from a garden party, and it was quite late, and the sun had not yet set. They entered the property at the gate at the end of the garden in order to proceed up the lawn to the house. Immediately, they had cleared the trees and shrubs and reached the open lawn. All 3 simultaneously saw a female figure with a bowed head. She was dressed entirely in black, in the garb of a nun. She appeared to be telling her beads, as her hands were in front of her and appeared to be clasped. Without knowing why, the 3 girls felt terrified. The figure was slowly gliding, rather than walking, along the nun's walk in the direction of the stream. Okay, does this not give you, like...
Horror movie vibes?
Horror movie vibes?
Yeah. Well, sitting there doing the rosary...
Yeah.
As it's gliding around, yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Classic horror movie, right?
With
Yeah.
its head bowed.
Yeah.
So something seemed to tell them that the nun was not normal, as she neither behaved nor progressed along the path in a normal manner. They stopped near the large summer house and watched her. She looked intensely sad and ill. By this time, they were really frightened, as the strangeness of what they now took to be an apparition. And one of the girls ran to the house to fetch her sister, Miss Elise Bull. When she saw the figure, she said, "A ghost? What nonsense. I'll go and speak to it."
If it's nonsense, then why are you going to go speak to it?
Because obviously it's a human.
Because obviously it's a human, not a ghost. So with that, she began to run across the lawn, but she had taken hardly 2 steps when the figure stopped and turned towards her. She had an expression of intense grief on her face, and Miss Elise stood on the lawn terrified, and the figure vanished.
I mean, I don't know that I would necessarily... I think I'd be shocked, but I don't think I'd be terrified, especially if the apparition had a look of...
Sadness?
Intense grief on their face. I don't think I would...
But she also said the ghost didn't exist at that time. Like, she wasn't believing that it was a ghost. And so, imagine, like, you're walking out to go talk to what you think is an actual living being, and then it just vaporizes in front of you and disappears.
I mean, that'd be
It
cool.
would be really hard to grasp, I think.
Right?
Like, because you're there, and your brain is only thinking logically, and then all of a sudden something happens that your brain is like, I can't comprehend this.
This makes no sense.
What the heck?
This
Yeah.
is not normal.
Yeah. But Miss Ethel Bull again saw the figure in the garden, but this time leaning over the garden gate. One of the maids and the cook saw it too, simultaneously with Miss Ethel. Later, a cousin who was staying at the house also saw it.
I'll say, what's amazing about all of these like sightings, it's not a single person saying, "I saw this out of the corner of my eye." It's 3-4 people saying they saw it looking head on.
Yeah.
All at the same time.
Yeah, simultaneously. It's
usually multiple people, not just one.
Yeah.
So on one occasion, Miss Ethel was in the house when all the bells, which there were about 20, suddenly started ringing simultaneously. This phenomenon was followed by the sound of rushing water. Okay, so hauntings, it's funny because, so I had an instance in my house once that it was one thing after the next after the next. Like, it was knocking on the wall, then it was running water, then it was turning on and off the lights, all within seconds of each other.
It's kind of intense.
Yeah. So when stuff like this happens, I'm like, dang.
And the bells that they're talking about are the servants' bells.
Yep.
So there's usually a bell per room, and if someone's in that room and they need the servant to
And
come
they
get
just
them,
pull on the bell.
yeah, they pull on the rope and the bell would go off. And so now you're talking about all 20 of them going off at once.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
At this point, those servant bells, were they connected?
When the Bulls were living there, I don't know. Now, when the Smiths were living there, I believe they had them disconnected, and it was proved that they were disconnected.
Yeah, and they were still ringing.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll still ring.
Yeah, no kidding. So a sister who was sleeping in one of the smaller bedrooms was awakened by something slapping her face.
That is so rude.
No kidding. Wake up, lady.
For a long period, quite regularly, every night, and just before she retired to rest, a series of sharp knocks was heard on her bedroom door. And later, many crashes were heard in the house. When in one of the upper passages, Miss Ethel saw a tall, dark man standing beside her. But before she could, understand what was happening, he just vanished. Can you imagine? Oh, that'd be so freaking cool. And then once, an uncle of the Bulls, who was visiting their house, slept in one of the rooms, and he refused to say what happened, but under no circumstances would he said he would never sleep there again.
Something happened.
Yeah, a lot of people, I think people that have a paranormal experience, a lot of them won't say what happened.
Maybe he got slapped in the face, too.
Yeah. Or maybe somewhere else. Maybe it rolled him over and slapped his butt.
Every night around 10:30, steps would be heard passing their bedroom door and upon the landing outside their room, and always stopping outside one of the night nurseries. When the sound of the footsteps ceased, 3 taps, and 3 taps only, were always heard. These footsteps and taps were heard at least 100 times.
That's a lot.
That's
Yeah, 1 or 2.
I mean, at one point in time, you just got to get used to it, right?
I was going to say, you'd kind of just forget about it, and I think, and just meh. Sleep.
It's just going to keep going.
One night, Miss Ethel awoke suddenly and found an old man in dark, old-fashioned clothes, wearing a tall hat, standing by her bed. On another occasion, the same figure was seen sitting on the edge of the bed, and this figure was seen many times. Well,
Man, they get to see full-body apparitions and all this.
They're having all the fun.
Invited.
Right?
You weren't born yet.
Jump in the time machine. Let's go.
Well, if somebody has a house like this, invite me.
We're going to 1929.
Miss Ethel's story of strange footsteps of her childhood days were supplied in a letter from Mrs. E. Byford, who for a short time was a nursemaid at the Borley Rectory. And this was in 1886. So she said, much of my youth was spent in Borley and district with my grandparents, and it was common talk that the rectory was haunted. Many people declared that they had seen figures walking at the bottom of the garden. I once worked at the rectory 43 years ago as an under nursemaid, but I only stayed there a month because the place was so weird. The other servants told me my bedroom was haunted, but I took little notice because I knew 2 of the ladies of the house had been sleeping there before me. But when I had been there a fortnight, something awakened me in the dead of night. Someone was walking down the passage toward the door of my room. The sound they made suggested that they were wearing slippers. As the head nurse always called me at 6 o'clock, I thought it must be she. But nobody entered the room, and I suddenly thought of the ghost. The next morning, I asked the other 4 maids if they had come to my room. They all said they had not, and tried to laugh at me But I was convinced that somebody or something in slippers had been along the corridor, and finally I became so nervous that I left. My grandparents would never let me pass by the building after dark, and I would never venture into the garden or the woods at dusk.
I mean, I wouldn't either alone.
Right?
I at least have one
It's
person
just
with
safe
me.
in general anyway. You shouldn't be walking around the woods in dark
No.
by yourself anyway.
No.
Yeah.
I honestly, with that account, I wonder if one of the other girls wasn't playing a trick on her.
But it came up to her door, and nothing happened after that.
Yeah.
It's not like it left.
That she heard.
Maybe they took their slippers off and walked quietly back.
Yeah.
Well, no. Now, remember when we lived in the lake house and you were gone?
Yeah,
and I
that's
heard
true.
those footsteps.
And all the doors slamming and closing at once downstairs in the basement.
Right, but then I heard footsteps. That was and then that's when I had Azariah in our room and I locked our bedroom door. And then I heard footsteps coming down the hall on the wood floor into
Right
the
up to the
dining
door.
room, right up
Again.
to the bedroom door.
Why wasn't I invited?
And then we didn't know you.
Yeah.
And then nothing. No footsteps leaving, nothing.
That's so crazy.
It was creepy
Ah.
because I was there alone and Azariah
I'd
was
be
only
scared as crud alone.
he was 4.5.
Yeah.
It was just him and I. We're out. I mean, I didn't know anybody out there. We're not in a city.
yeah.
We're in a tiny little town
in the middle of nowhere.
in the middle of nowhere
Yeah,
by
that
a
would be
lake.
terrifying.
It'd be-
Because I'd be afraid more of alive people than dead people.
Exactly.
So that would be terrifying.
The living are far scarier than the dead.
Yep.
And if you called 911 out there, you had probably 30 minutes before a cop would show up. If you were lucky, it was 30.
And by that time,
Yeah.
you're probably dead anyway.
Exactly.
Exactly. But I stayed up all night.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
And we only had cell phones, and the signal out there was crap,
A bar if you were lucky.
if you were lucky.
Good.
2 was a miracle.
Now, one day, the dad, Harry, was in the garden with his retriever, Juvenile, when the dog suddenly started howling and cowering with fright. Looking in the direction at which the dog was pointing, the rector saw the legs of a figure, the upper part of which was apparently hidden by some fruit trees. The legs moved, and when they had cleared the bushes, Harry Bull saw that they belonged to a man who was headless. The figure went towards the gate. This gate was always kept locked. The figure disappeared in the vegetable garden, where it was lost to sight. Upon another occasion, Mr. Bull saw a little old man standing on the lawn, with one arm pointing upwards and the other down. As the rector approached, the figure disappeared. Inquiries as to who the figure could have been, the fact that the features were identical with those of an old gardener named Amos, whom the Bulls had employed some 200 years previously. Kate, my question is, why is the dude pointing up and pointing down at the same time?
He's signaling in a plane for landing. Okay, no.
He's like, look this way.
Go this way.
Go up or go down.
You're-
get to decide.
It's your choice.
Down, right? Always
So
down.
if they employed him 200 years previously,
Yep.
how would he know what this gardener looked like back then?
He wouldn't. It was just the fact that the family had it passed down what he looked like.
But how would he recognize him?
I just think it was passed down through the family, through generations as the family moved on. Like, oh yeah, Amos was this short little dude. I have no idea.
Maybe.
So they said that old Amos was a well-known character in the family. And so the story had been passed down that he had been around. So I wonder, because he inquired about it, probably talked to everybody, and they were like, oh yeah, that's Amos.
Or that sounds like it.
Or that-
Okay.
I wonder if that's him. or-
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just weird. I don't know.
Does
It
say that
seems.
he looked just like him. I'm like,
Yeah,
did
that's
they
how do you
have one of
know?
those pictures of him?
I mean, maybe they just pulled out their cell phone and scrolled up and found. I'm
Looked
kidding.
on Facebook and
Maybe there was a painting of him above the mantle, and like, oh yeah, that's Amos.
Instead of MySpace, it was called MySquare.
Yeah.
So one night, Mr. Bull was returning to the rectory and was in the road just outside the house. Suddenly, he heard a great clatter of hoofs on the roadway and the tumbling as of heavy wheels. Wondering who could be in such a hurry, he deserted his spot and stepped to the side of the road in order for the vehicle to pass. The sounds passed him, but that was all. There was nothing tangible to be seen, and the noise gradually diminished and could be heard dying away in the distance. That would be crazy. A phantom
Coach.
coach.
with nothing.
Mhm.
Like you don't see it,
You don't
you
even
just hear
see
it.
You just hear it.
Yeah, like horses' hooves. I heard that when I was little, walking, picking blackberries with my grandma across the street.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would hear it often. And it scared me because I thought there was like a herd of wild horses running up behind me.
Yeah.
And there never was.
Ooh,
That's so cool.
that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Also freaky.
Yeah, it was a little freaky. I wasn't very old.
Some of the old coffins in the crypt of the Borley Church had been found moved from their prescribed positions. This has occurred on several occasions, and no explanation has been found for the displacements.
That's interesting.
Those would be heavy.
They
Zombies.
I
would.
would assume.
Zombies.
Zombies.
They didn't like where they were buried, so they got out one day and they helped each other move them a little bit. Relocation.
They're
Yeah.
like, oh, this is getting old. Let's just kind of.
The view is better over there.
I want your spot. You got a better pedestal than I do.
And strange lights in certain rooms in the rectory were reported by various people over a long period, but investigations inevitably proved that no normal lights were present. And Mr. Wall saw one of these lights in room number 7 on the evening of June 11th, 1929.
Which room 7 is the classroom. The same room that Miss Smith had the same occurrence in.
Interesting.
Ooh. So now we're going to go to Mr. Walter Bull. When waking up, hold on, we're going to restart that one.
That's just bull.
When walking up the lane and approaching the rectory, he at least 50 times heard footsteps following him. He always turned around but never saw anyone and couldn't account for them. I've heard that quite a bit. I hear walking behind me.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
I mean, I've heard it as an echo, like off of buildings and stuff, but
Right.
I have never heard it in the woods or in the countryside.
I've heard it in my house. Okay, now let's see. Edward Cooper. So, Mr. Cooper joined the staff of the rectory in April of 1916, when Mrs. Bull was in residence there. So, for more than 3 years during his occupation of the cottage, the Coopers were, when they were in bed, were disturbed on most nights by the sounds of pattering that appeared to come from the adjoining living room. It was just as if a large dog or a small child had climbed up from a height and was paddling down the room. Naturally, at first, they were somewhat concerned at what these noises could be, and more than once lit the candle and explored the rooms without success. Finally, they got used to the pad, 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 which usually began soon after they got into bed between 10 and 11 o'clock, and thought nothing of it. But one night, about 3 years after the padding sounds were first heard, again, soon after the Coopers had retired to rest, the dog phenomenon was again experienced. They heard the soft but heavy pad, pad, pad in the next room, and suddenly there was a terrific crash, as if all the china in the kitchen dresser had fallen to the floor simultaneously. Mr. Cooper leapt out of bed and lit a candle, quite expecting to find part of his home demolished. But to his astonishment, not a thing in the cottage was displaced, and no damage was done. And from that night onwards, they were never again disturbed. The dog had gone forever.
Well, at least it left in a flourish.
Came out with a bang, but then...
Can I just say how happy I am to live in the time where we got to get up in the middle of the night to look for something, and we just flip a switch,
Right?
Right?
and a light comes on instead of let
So
me light this
convenient.
Let
candle.
me light this candle and it's only gonna illuminate my face.
If that. Oh, man.
Now we have big flashlights that are like torches that are
The make night and today.
Yeah, you can,
that'll light the entire house up.
you can see 4 miles away. You're like, yeah, I got this.
You can turn off street lights and jeez. But I have been investigating at places and I have heard big crashes and nothing has happened in a room.
Nothing's moved. Nothing's
moved,
out of
nothing
place.
broke, and it's been totally fine.
That kind of happened at the Anson Call House when we were there that first time.
Yes, it
I mean,
is.
it was-
Super jealous.
It was so loud.
You missed it only by a few minutes
I
because
know.
you showed up
'Cause you
5
couldn't
minutes
wait
later.
for me.
No, they couldn't wait.
Just kidding.
But it was loud, and it sounded like a big old board was chucked across the room.
Actually, a brick.
It was whatever it was.
Something.
It was super loud in that nursery.
Well, that was a board.
Yeah.
But remember in the part where the thing exploded?
Oh yeah,
It was like a brick was...
like it sounded like a brick being thrown down in the basement, which no bricks were out of place either.
No. Well, that we know of,
Yeah. But that board part was just crazy because we looked in that room, not a thing was out of place.
Nope.
Not fair. One early morning in 1919, when it was just getting light, the Coopers, as they lay in bed, saw a black shape in the form of a little man running around their bedroom. Before they could do anything about it, the form vanished. They thought the devil was in the house. Okay, hold on.
A little man. I get this picture of him running around like the circle rug. Whee! And then just vanishing. Like this little dude.
I mean, like, you think like 2 inches?
Yeah,
like,
that's what I
like a male
picture.
form or Tinkerbell. it was a leprechaun.
Oh, so when you hear some of the stories, I'm sure for them it was terrifying, but the retelling is freaking hilarious. Like,
Yes.
Especially when you get a visual in your
I got
head.
slapped in the face.
I was getting slapped.
Oh, heavens. Okay, the Coopers had frequently seen the nun, or at least a black shape resembling a hooded figure, crossing the courtyard, which is overlooked by the cottage windows. On one occasion from their window, they saw that the figure's side face, and it appeared to be the traditional nun. One bright summer's evening about 10 o'clock, when it was barely dark, they saw the figure cross the courtyard and walk towards the road. To do this in a direct line, it had to step on the cover of an inspection chamber that was flush with the ground. This cover was loose, and any normal person walking over it would rock it, thus making the clanking metallic sound. The nun stepped on the cover, but no sound was heard. Mr. Cooper at the time called his wife's attention to this fact. This figure, now seen more clearly, was dressed as a sister of mercy. Mr. Cooper was so struck by the lifelike appearance of the nun that the next morning he made inquiries in the neighborhood and at the rectory, but no one had seen the figure as he had described.
Jeez.
She was a-floating.
But that's the third person to see the nun.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Well,
No.
him and his wife.
So that's 2 there. Also, Harry Bull and his daughter. So that's at 6 people.
So probably the most impressive sight that Mr. Cooper saw was the black coach, which we've got to make sense of this somehow. One bright moonlight night, when he and his wife were retiring to rest, he happened to look out the window, and in the meadow by the church opposite, he saw some bright moving lights. Wondering why such lights should be present at such a time and place, he watched and realized that the lights were approaching. As he neared the road, he saw that the lights were really the headlamps attached to a large old-fashioned black coach, which was rapidly sweeping across the hedge and the road towards him at the rectory. He gazed in astonishment, and the whole turnout was so clear-cut that he could see the harness of the 2 horses glittering in the light of the headlamps and the moon. On the box of the coach were 2 figures wearing high-top hats. In amazement, he shouted to his wife, but she was just too late to see the extraordinary spectacle. She arrived at the window as the coach swept into the farmyard and disappeared. Mr. Cooper considered that the coach, or rather lights, were visible from the first to the last for a period of about 30 seconds, which is pretty impressive.
That's a
Yeah,
long
usually it's
time
like
to see.
1 second, 2
You get a
seconds.
few seconds if you're lucky.
That's right.
Let
But
alone
30?
seconds of that.
It's usually just a blink of the eye.
Yeah, and it's gone.
Or it's like you look at it, you blink, gone.
Yeah. Don't blink. That's the rule. Don't blink.
Don't blink. Don't turn your head. Don't blink. Don't go get somebody. It's gonna be gone. Mr. Cartwright lived in the lodgings in Sudbury when he had been contracted to do some repair work to farm buildings at the farm between Borley and Clare. He used to walk to his work every morning, and the shortest cut was through Borley past the rectory. This was in the early autumn of 1927, and he believed that the rectory was then unoccupied. He started his first day's work on the Monday morning, and leaving home soon after 6 o'clock, passed Borley Rectory just before 7. It was then barely light. On the next morning, Tuesday, he left home around the same time, passing the rectory about 6:45. As far as he could remember, it was a fine morning, As he passed the drive gate nearest Sudbury, he saw a Sister of Mercy standing quite still by the side of the gate. She stood perfectly normal, but he thought it was strange that such a person would be standing at such a place so early in the morning. He concluded that she was waiting for some vehicle to pick her up, but there were no buses or public conveniences near than the main Sudbury Long Milford Road. He thought that she may have been on some errand of mercy, perhaps a case of illness, which had detained her all night. The matter passed from his mind. Every day he passed that same spot at the same hour. Within a few minutes, he saw nothing of the nun until the following Friday morning. He passed the rectory as usual, and noticed that the same nun apparently was at the identical spot, close up to the hedge by the drive gate. He again thought it was curious that the Sister of Mercy should have been there at such a time, and as he passed her, he looked at her. She appeared perfectly normal, except that her eyes were closed. Again, the thought occurred to him that she had been up all night tending to the sick, and that she was tired. He imagined, as he had done on the previous Tuesday, that she was waiting for some conveyance to pick her up. The next and third time he saw the Sister of Mercy was on the following Wednesday morning at the same hour and place. She was standing on the identical spot as previously. As he passed her, he looked at her intently and saw that she seemed pale, tired, and ill, but perfectly human. Her eyes were closed as if asleep. Something seemed to tell Mr. Cartwright that both the nun and her demeanor were very unusual, and he was a little frightened. As he continued walking, he could not help but wonder whether she needed assistance. He decided to offer it. He turned to walk back and found that the nun was nowhere in sight, and he had heard no sound of a vehicle on the road. He concluded that she had turned into the rectory. He therefore continued toward Clare. The fourth and the last time that Mr. Cartwright saw the nun was on the following Friday, at exactly the same place and hour. It was barely light. The figure was in the identical spot as on the 3 previous occasions, by this side of the drive gate. Immediately he saw her in the distance. He made up his mind that he would go and at least say good morning to her. But before he reached the drive, the nun had gone. He did not see her vanish, but one moment she was there and the next she was not. Again he concluded that she had passed into the rectory or grounds. But as he reached the drive gate, he found that it was tightly closed. Puzzled, and out of sheer curiosity, he opened the gate and walked to the whole length of the drive, from one gate to the other. Nothing was seen of her, and there was no sign of life at the rectory itself, which he believed was empty, which indeed it was. He passed the rectory several times during the next year or so, both at night and by day, but saw nothing further of the Sister of Mercy.
Jeez.
Wow.
You guys know what a Sister of Mercy is, right?
What?
So in that time, nuns were actually trained as medical professionals, and they would help out with midwifery and with situations of like grave illness.
Yeah.
And so they would come out and give last rites and those things. And
Oh,
so
gotcha.
it wouldn't be uncommon, especially in these rural areas, to have a nun come out and watch over somebody and
Right.
act as a hospice care. So I wonder if that's not how that came about. What's interesting is there's a portion of the Borley Rectory that is actually the burial site of plague victims of 1654 to 1655.
Oh, so maybe that's where she was.
It would make sense.
It would make
Maybe
sense.
that's where she was going, and then she was standing there to get picked up.
Could be, yeah.
And yeah, maybe she succumbed to the plague even. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
They said it's actually quite regular that a skull would turn up when they're tilling the ground.
Okay, so maybe that's where the woman's skull came from.
Maybe.
But everything was intact, so I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hard to say.
But tilling the ground then was different than tilling the ground now. It's not like you had.
Yeah, you're using a spade usually.
Right. But I mean, that would make a lot of sense, and would make sense for why her head was always down. Maybe she was sad and seeing what she was seeing, if the plague was going on.
Exactly.
And she was part of it. And it was maybe like a repetitive thing that she did all the time. And so kind of left that mark.
That
Yeah.
imprint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that would make a lot of sense.
It would.
The coach, on the other hand, is baffling because we know that's going to have to be 1555 and beyond.
Right.
Oh, actually, wait. No, because that still pulls into the plague. That still puts us 1654. So what if that coach is actually picking up people or dropping people off? Maybe it was a plague center or something along those lines.
Like bring out your dead.
Yeah.
I'm not dead. You will be in a minute.
I'm getting better.
No, you're not.
But that would make sense if it was all plague related. If it was in that time frame.
Yeah, and her with her rosary and
Yes. Yeah, it would make
a lot of
sense.
sense.
What's interesting is Harry Bull saw the nun and wanted to keep seeing the nun so much that he built the summer house along the nun's walk and would sit out there most nights after dinner.
Yeah. And wait and watch.
I'd be like, as the wife, what the heck are you doing?
Well, here's what's interesting, though, is that every one of these people, right, they're all reverends. They're all priests. They're all God-fearing people.
Yeah.
That are all...
And families.
And families that are all kind of into this.
Yeah.
It is not the same here.
No.
Here's the crazy part, is if we went through all of the accounts and happenings that have happened on this property, I think we'd have a 5-hour episode.
Easily, probably.
Yeah.
They could literally make a movie out of this.
Oh, they could.
They actually have.
Ooh, do tell.
Yeah, there's...
Do you know?
If you search up Borley Rectory, you will come across movies.
But like...
In fact, there was one we watched when we were watching horror movies.
That was stupid.
It was, but it was on this place.
Yeah.
It was on this
to
place.
Make one like
Good one.
a real good Hollywood
Yeah.
horror movie out of this.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, I think they could do a good job. But here's the thing, though, is like they're gonna pervert it so badly that it's gonna be awful.
That's the problem.
Yep.
Based on a true story. It's like, yeah, really loosely based when Hollywood gets a hold of it.
Right.
So the reason why like this place is really well known is because Harry Price, who at the time was a well-known psychic researcher,
Yeah.
and he spent years investigating this place with multiple of the tenants and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what's interesting is in his book, he actually tells a little paragraph of what he brings on an investigation.
Okay. Yeah. And given this was way back in the, 1930s?
1930s.
Yeah. So it's
Like,
gonna,
what do you bring?
Okay,
what is there, right?
so this is what he brings.
I can do like rods.
They're not even on here.
Really?
Yeah. So in a large suitcase, the following items are packed. A pair of soft felt overshoes used for creeping unheard about the house in order that neither human beings nor paranormal entities shall be disturbed when producing phenomenon.
Okay. From now on, you guys, whenever we go on investigation, I'll say, make sure you pack your...
Soft felt overshoes.
Yes.
So you're saying I should wear slippers?
Yes.
Yes.
Done.
Quiet slippers.
He had a steel measuring tape for measuring rooms, passages, and testing thickness of walls in looking for secret chambers or hidey holes.
Hidey holes? Is that what they actually call it?
Yeah, hidey holes.
That's awesome.
I'll show you a hidey
Secret
hole.
chambers.
Oh.
Like, this is the thing, is like, you're looking for secret chambers in these houses, that's great. Like, they probably got some here and there. But the houses today, no.
They had tunnels, that's for
Yeah.
sure. Although they didn't really mention a whole lot about the tunnels, which I was kind of shocked at because you'd think they would have like mentioned those a little bit more.
I have a little bit on the tunnels. There's not a lot. But they did find the tunnels. When Harry Price went out there, he found where the tunnels were located. You could see one was collapsed, and you could see the other one.
Yeah,
You just never explored them.
could they tell where they led or about which way they went? Because I know if it was collapsed, obviously that's harder, right?
So he said he was told where the entrance to the second tunnel was, or perhaps the entrance to the branch of the Borley Boars Tunnel, which is still an extent of the farmyard of Borley Place. and at the ancient house opposite of the rectory. And a tunnel from Clare is supposed to meet one from Burr somewhere in the rectory grounds.
Interesting.
It really makes me wonder, like, what they would really use them for.
Oh, that's the
What
question.
is the purpose of having the tunnels? Like, for here in the States, the tunnels were for swapping girls, you know?
Well, and also like
And-
Shanghai people.
Yep. And
Yep.
for alcohol.
Yeah,
goods,
prohibition and all that.
You know, or like
Underground Railroad.
Underground Railroad.
Yep.
But what did they use them for there?
That's a great
I
question.
don't know, because like
Secret rendezvous.
I was thinking like bomb shelters and stuff during World War II, but this is so
much earlier.
so
Yeah.
much earlier than that. Is it? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what winter. I mean, can it be winter? Like, and how do they build the tunnels? Like, I mean, you're talking like mine shaft style. Like, these are hand dug tunnels.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Who has time for that?
I don't.
Yeah, right.
Well, I do, but I'm not going to do it.
But that just seems like a lot of effort. So there's got to be something.
There had to have been a really good reason or reasons to
Yeah,
put forth that sort of an effort to do that.
something.
7 miles worth.
That's a lot of digging,
Yeah.
And
So-
this is true fact that there is a 7-mile tunnel.
supposedly.
Like all of it.
I mean, I think you'd have to take some GPR out there to figure it out,
Right.
but
Yeah. Why
mean,
don't
who's
they
gonna
do
pay-
that?
because that's like
Some
$10,000 an hour.
Be worth it.
Yeah. Well, as soon as we buy the rectory grounds, we can do that.
Right.
You're going to own a little 2 foot by 2 foot square.
Yes, we'll sell them out.
Plant a tree on it.
I'll tell you, sir and lady.
Yes.
Lord and lady.
So he also brought steel screw eyes, lead post office seals, a sealing tool, strong quarter tape, adhesive surgical tape for sealing doors, windows, and cupboards.
Like, what are you needing these things for?
This is what he brought when he went.
I
Go
mean,
investigate,
You gotta take what you got.
right?
A string with a bell on it.
That's actually on here. A set of tools with wire nails, hank of electric flex, small electric bells, dry batteries and switches for secret electrical contacts.
Dry batteries, what versus wet batteries?
Yeah, that's actually
What does that
dry
mean?
batteries are what we consider today like our
Okay.
door cells. Wet batteries, what you got in your car.
Interesting. Never knew that.
So they had more wet batteries back then too. At times, the big old I don't know what
Block battery
Yeah.
thingies. My bobbers.
And this is the 30s, so it's a little. I mean, things were getting a little better technologically speaking.
I want to watch and investigate.
That'd be so much fun. To see these old ones. A 9 centimeter by 12 centimeter reflex camera, film packs and flash bulbs for indoor outdoor photography, a small portable telephone for communicating with assistant in another part of the building or garden.
Okay, here's what we need to do, you guys. We need to maybe next year make it a point to get as many of these things as we can and actually investigate that way.
Oh my gosh.
One location and film it.
Okay.
I think-
so much work.
I think it would be great though.
Would.
I mean, compared to what we do today, it's vastly different. You're
it's so
much
much
more
different.
limited.
Notebook, red, blue, black pencils, a sketching block, and a case of drawing instruments for making plans, bandages, iodine, a flask of brandy in case a member of the investigating staff or resident is injured or faints, a ball of string, a stick of chalk, matches,
So you can outline your dead body
Yep.
later.
an electrical torch, a candle, a bowl of mercury for detecting tremors in a room or passage,
Oh, that's interesting.
or for making silent electrical mercury switches.
What?
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, that's like some pretty crazy stuff
We're going on
nowadays.
chemistry.
Yeah,
It's a science experiment
a
too.
cinematography camera with remote electrical control in films.
Okay, was this guy rich?
I think he was fairly well off.
I mean, because you got to figure that stuff ran into some money back then.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It's like our equipment today.
yeah. A sensitive transmitting thermograph.
What?
I don't even know. With charts to measure the slightest variation of temperature in supposedly haunted rooms. So essentially, the sensitive transmitting thermograph is today's IR camera or laser thermometer. where we just walk around and
Yep.
click our laser thermometer, like, yep, it's 45 degrees over there. They're like, wait, it's printing out now. Oh, it went up. Okay.
They would think that we were so lazy.
I know.
Like, we take, I mean, if we were to get all of our gear and everything, it probably takes us about 45 minutes to an hour to set up.
At least.
Can you imagine what it would take him?
No.
Days.
Which is why he leased it for a
That's
year.
why he
Yeah.
stayed there for a year. He's like, dude, I'm setting this stuff up and I'm not taking it down.
Right?
Ooh, this needs to be worth my time.
You know, but instead of the mercury to detect any tremors or vibrations on the ground, can't you just put bowls of water in everywhere
You could.
and point a camera at them?
You could. I mean, it's a lot
Like-
safer because mercury's
I
highly
know.
toxic.
Well, that's what I mean. So do like water or pudding or something, or Jello.
Pudding?
Do Jello. Do Jello. And put a camera on it.
Can you put a bowl of pudding out and a camera on it? What are you doing?
You have a raccoon
Watching for
eating it.
tremors.
Yeah.
This is how I track ghosts. It's ghost pudding.
Oh my gosh.
So,
It's very vanilla.
so he brings a packet of graphite and soft brushes for developing fingerprints.
Oh, that's, yeah.
I've never heard of a ghost leaving a fingerprint.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. For a long stay in a house with supply of electricity, I would take with me infrared filters, lamps, and cinefilm sensitive to infrared rays so I could take photographs in almost complete darkness. See, now he's speaking my language.
Now we're getting there.
He's like, in special cases, as in my broadcast from the Haunted Manor at Meopham in Kent, I use an electric signaling instrument which automatically reveals to the investigator a movement of any object in any part of the house or a change in temperature in the controlled rooms.
Whoa.
Now that is pretty cool.
Right?
Especially for back then,
Yeah.
you know?
Let's do that now.
Right?
I don't even know how.
I know.
So is that the same as setting up like 600 DVR cameras? So we can catch every angle in every room, and then we can just sit back at base camp and watch.
That's no fun.
That's not as neat, is it?
No. Like, okay, DVR cameras, those are always great, right? But I want to go out and investigate. I wouldn't want to just sit there and
Yeah.
stare at a screen split like 12 ways or something.
Well, I mean, he's also talking about long-term stuff, right? So, like,
Well, sure.
if you're sitting in the kitchen having dinner and
Okay, in those
something moves
instances,
in another room,
yeah, in those instances, I agree, but I'd want to be out
yeah,
investigating where I could, and when I take my breaks or sleep, then
yeah.
Yeah.
just let it roll. But
But there's still so many rooms.
yeah,
Place.
it was like 23,
No way.
I think they said.
Yeah. And that doesn't include the cellar,
Yeah, exactly.
which they actually found a 61-foot well in the cellar.
Holy cow.
Seriously.
Yeah. So, like, it would be interesting it would have been really cool to see that. Now, the interesting thing is the nun was reported to be seen every July 28th.
That's my birthday.
Da-da-da-da.
So we're going to go there.
Be-
We're going to go there on my birthday. We're all going to go there and we're going to witness the nun.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
3 more witnesses.
That's right.
So, I mean, that's the crazy thing is this place has got so much activity, so many different people. If you I'm sure if you still go, I wonder if we went to Borley today and talked to the residents of Borley, if they would say that they've still had stuff happening on the property.
I mean, in one of the little videos I watched, it was about 20 minutes long. They said that today there are still like shadowy figures that they'll see, and it happens both day, night. It doesn't matter. There's still reports coming out there. A woman screaming.
Yeesh.
Well,
You
and
know?
I think that if it's residual,
Hmm.
it's going to happen whether the house is in or not.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's just an imprint there, you know?
It'd be fun to go see if it's intelligent,
It would be.
to see if it'll interact.
I think it would be cool to just see it, whether it's residual, intelligent, or a mixture of both.
Yeah.
But did we ever say what ended up happening to the Borley house?
Other than it burning to the ground?
Yeah, but did we say how?
No, we did not. So the last resident of Borley House, he was actually up in the blue room dusting his books. I'd never do that.
I
But he was.
mean, I'm not going to say I haven't.
I can say I haven't. And he was stacking his book. He reports that he had stacked his books nice and neat, and so that they wouldn't fall over.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Do we know if he stacked them from the floor up or on a table up or...
Doesn't say.
Doesn't say.
He didn't.
Because you know what I'm
that's what I saw.
picturing, right?
On a table falling over?
No. What I'm picturing is, you know that scene in Ghostbusters where there's a stack of books?
Oh, and the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like this big
Oh, no,
stack of
sorry.
books.
That's right. That was in the first one in the library. They're like, oh, it was the book stacking event of something. Oh.
Yeah, but it was also in the second one because they made reference to it.
Yeah. I don't know.
With the same ghost.
Yeah, I don't know on that one. But he says that the stack of books fell over and that he didn't hit them. It hit an oil lamp. The oil lamp broke, and that was all she wrote. That house went up in 5 minutes.
Oh, so sad.
Yeah. I would love to go there if it was still standing. I would like to go there anyways.
Yeah.
I
It'd
mean,
be super cool to see the property.
So you just got to take your mansion tent
right?
and go set it up over there.
On the property.
I'm not paying for the travel with that thing on a plane.
We'll just buy one when we get there, and we'll set it up where the Borley Rectory stood, and then our tent will now be haunted.
Done.
Done.
Or we can set it on the plague pit.
That's a little too far
You
for
wake up in
me.
the middle of the night, super sick.
Oh, I'd be so mad.
I went to England. I got the plague.
Jeez. Oh, man.
Funny enough, there are 17 cases a year of the plague
Yeah.
It's terrible.
in the U.S.
Yeah.
Doc, I'm sick. It's because you got the plague.
Oh, that would be upsetting.
I mean, now it's just antibiotics and you're fine.
I understand, but
it's
just
so
when you
weird.
hear those words, when you hear the word plague,
You got the black plague.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got the Black Death. What?
Here comes the bubonic plague.
Man, I just got over tuberculosis.
Oh, jeez. We probably have a whole lot of spirits standing around going, a-holes.
Right.
You know? You think it's funny? Oh, man. It's not funny, but with a light sense of humor here.
Yes.
Lighten it up a little bit.
In our twisted sense of humors.
It happens.
Light and twisted. So, hope you guys all enjoyed this travel through history of the UK's most haunted house, which doesn't stand anymore.
No, but the plot of land is still there.
Still there.
I'd be like bringing my shovel and digging for a tunnel, looking for a tunnel entrance.
I'm going to find it.
I'll find you.
All I found was 7 skulls. Jeez.
I know I'm getting closer.
And as always, stay ghosty, my peeps. Thank you for listening to the Paranormal Peeps podcast. You can find us on social media at Twitter at CPR Paranormal, on Facebook at Paranormal Peeps Podcast and Cold Spot Paranormal Research. And you can find us on Instagram at coldspot_paranormal_research.